Girl, slow down. Girl, I'm telling you, you need to slow down. You're probably wondering where the heck I've been. And ooh, child, I don't even know where to start. 2025 has probably been the most trying year for me. Worse than 2020 to 2023, like the COVID years. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. And it didn't dawn on me that this is literally the first video that I've made in 2025, and it's the second to last day of 2025. So that should say a lot. This year was definitely a year for sure. What all have we missed? Let's get into it. All right, so this year started off like any other year, really. Starting off the new year, still in the job that I had. I don't even know if I told y'all about my current, probably the most strenuous, taxing, most challenging role I've ever had in my life, and just trying to navigate that. Let's go back. So a big thing that happened this year was officially diagnosed. I am neurodivergent, I found out, and I've always thought that, I was a little different, or the way that I thought was a little different than others in the way I process things. And I got the official diagnosis of ADHD. And I come to realize that the role or certain roles that I've been in just don't work for me. I can't thrive in these roles because of the way my mind works and the way that I process things. And I'm now realizing I'm a structured person. I like structure, I like routine. And if I'm not given like clear direction or clear expectations on what is required of me, I sometimes will shut down, because for me it's a struggle. Like I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want me to do this? Do you want, just let me know what I need to do and we can, I can go from there. I excel, I thrive in spaces where I know what's expected of me. I know there's structure. I am not big on working in the gray. And if I am put in a place where I'm working in the gray, I am able to reference some type of guidance or procedural documents that can aid me in completing my, necessary tasks. But if there's a lot of gray and there's not a lot of guidance, and I'm required to work in a lot of ambiguity, I'm realizing that is a slight challenge for me. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with me. It's just the way that my mind works and the way that my brain processes things. And what's crazy is I've always been an overachiever, overperformer. My friends always joke with me about, in the past, previous roles, I'd be the one that was always working, that would work late, that would stay late, not use my PTO. I would not use any of my PTO, and I would be forced by my leadership to use it at the end of the year because I literally worked every day. There was one role where I was recognized because I had put in the most amount of hours out of all of my peers. All of my peers, meaning not just the location that I was in at the time, all of my peers as in everyone in that particular department, including our other locations in different states, as well as our offshore resources. They'd offered overtime, and I never passed up overtime. When I tell you I was working every day, I was working every day. And it wasn't necessarily because I enjoyed the job. I enjoyed the money. It's nice to have a little something, you're on your own for the first time and you're like, ooh, how good can it get? It can get great with overtime, But yeah, I've always been a overachiever, going above and beyond. And I would say the last maybe 2 years have truly tested me. I wouldn't say my faith, tested my patience. I guess I questioned myself and my ability to execute certain tasks and perform certain jobs, because I would question myself. But I realized over time that it was burnout. I had gone so above and beyond, overperformed, overachieved for so long that my body is like, girl, slow down. Girl, I'm telling you, you need to slow down. My body definitely caught up to me this year, for sure. But I'll get back to that. Let's start off the beginning of the year. My birthday is in February. Ooh, my birthday's in February. I am a February baby. I am an Aquarius. I am also in a relationship. This made year 4, so 2026 will be year 5. Both of our birthdays are in February. We're both Aquarius, so yeah. If you know, you know. We typically will do something together for our birthday since they fall within the same week. And this year we went on a cruise. We had an amazing time. We flew to Miami. Yeah, we flew to Miami and then we went to Dominican Republic. Where else did we went to St. Thomas. I know that for a fact because that's where my dad's from. And it was nice to go there and be familiar with a lot of the areas that we went to. Yeah, I feel like we went to the Bahamas, but I'm not sure. I really can't remember, but I know we went to about 5 different ports. It was amazing. That was in February. Let's see, March, I went on my very first cabin trip. So that was a delayed Christmas present from my significant other. I told him I didn't want anything tangible. I wanted an experience, and an experience is what I had. My first ever cabin trip, we went to Oklahoma, and it was so nice. It was cool. Unfortunately, it was rainy, but it was so beautiful. So we went to Oklahoma, and it wasn't super mountainous, but we're in the woods, just us. There were other cabins around the area. They were beautiful, but ours was gorgeous. Had a hot tub, had a balcony, had an outdoor area for a fire pit. We made sure to use the jacuzzi because why not? You're in a cabin. I feel like that's like customary, right? So that was March. April, I did something big. I did something that I've always wanted to do. I treated my mom. I actually got her the gift for Christmas as her Christmas gift, but I treated her to a mother-daughter trip. I took my mom to Paris. So we went to Paris. Amazing time. Actually, a friend of mine and myself, we both kind of set it up. We planned it. We initially discussed it and it was just kind of like an idea. But then we started taking it a little bit more seriously. And it ended up being a mother-daughter trip for the both of us. She brought her mom and I brought mine and we flew out there together and we were there for a week and it was beautiful. One thing about me, as I said before, I'm a structured person. I like routine. I like to know what's going on. I like to stay like 10 steps ahead of everyone else and just kind of think of things like beforehand. So I planned the entire itinerary and it's just something I want to do. It's something I've always enjoyed. So I guess project management in a way. I do have a certification, but I booked all of the exhibits, the monuments, the things that people go and see out there, scheduled and planned out every day. And it literally went off without a hitch. It was flawless. It was perfect. The timing of when we went to the different exhibits was literally perfect. I chose to do everything in the mornings before they got crazy. April is a great time to go to Paris, by the way. It's not freezing and it's not hot, so it was spring, early spring. But yeah, we'd be in line by 8, 9 for most things. By the time like 9:30, 10 came around, the lines were either wrapped around the building. You would be waiting a while. I started planning things from the monuments, the restaurants, the sightseeing, just little things here and there. One of my good friends and I went to Barcelona, Spain last year, and I also planned out that trip. Had an amazing time. She found the hotel, but I planned the rest of the itinerary. That was in March of 2024. Back to Paris. We were there for about a week. Yeah, about a week. Had a great time. Would I go back? I'm not sure. For me, it was the food. I guess I'm just used to a lot of seasoning. So I have Caribbean roots. Both of my parents are from the United States Virgin Islands. And I live in Dallas, so I'm used to a lot of seasoning too. Even though I've been to Europe a few times before, I guess I was expecting something different because when we went to Barcelona, we had some fairly decently seasoned food. So I had no complaints about the food in Barcelona. Yeah, Parisian food, wasn't my forte, but the sights were beautiful. What did we do? We went to, of course, the Eiffel Tower, to the Palace of Versailles, Arc de Triomphe, the Dior Museum. I would have to pull up the itinerary. There's a lot of things that we booked. And let's see, I think I went somewhere every month this year. I don't know if I said it before. January I was in Atlanta. I want to say it was Atlanta visiting my brother. I think so. Yeah, it was Atlanta. It was Atlanta because that's when I gave my mom her Christmas gift of, the trip. And I did it in front of my family. So, February was the cruise with my boyfriend. March was the cabin. April was Paris. May, I went back home. And home being Orlando to spend time with my parents. I'd never give up an opportunity to go and spend time with them since they're empty nesters. It's always nice, to go home and to see them, spend some time with them, and then also just being able to go to the beach. It's always a great thing. That was May. June, I actually think June was the only time I did not. Yeah, June was the only month I actually didn't go anywhere. Come July, I went to Florida and just spent the weekend with my mom. We went to the beach, just, went out to eat. Just a girls' weekend, just a quick weekend trip. So it's always nice going to see my family, my parents. I also go and see my cousins out there as well. We were super close growing up, and they were like siblings to me. August, went back to Florida. However, I went for a different reason. This time, instead of going to Orlando, I went to Miami, and that was for my brother's baby shower. My brother and my sister-in-law got married in 2023, and they actually had the baby, but the end of August was their baby shower, which was planned by myself, my mother, my sister-in-law's mom, and her sisters, and it was so beautiful. Oh my goodness. You would have thought it was another wedding. The way that we executed her vision and set it up, oh, it was gorgeous. Project manager here. But that was August. September, I went to Charlotte. It's come like a running theme now. For the past, 3 years now, I have traveled to, I think 2 to 3 years. I've traveled to Charlotte around September for either a couple days to a week, just to see family out there, to see my friends. One of my closest friends, her birthday is actually in September, so the timing that I go is typically the end around her birthday, and then I spend time with my friends out there as well as my family. North Carolina is the first state that I moved to once I left the nest from my parents. I feel like that's where I met like my best friends. Like my tribe is in Charlotte, and I miss them so much. They want me to move back so bad, and I've been contemplating, but I kind of made some roots here. Got a partner, got a house. We'll see. Not right now, but who knows, maybe down the line. We'll see. But I was there for a week, was able to work out there because my office, my company has an office out there, which is the office that I started at when I first moved out back in 2017. So it was nice to be able to see some familiar faces that are still with my company. October, I went to Virginia, DC to go visit my best friend. Funny enough, I booked the flight to DC back in June, July to go visit my best friend. After the baby shower in August, my brother and sister-in-law decided to move to like the DMV area. And it just so happened I had already booked a flight out there. So that trip became a twofer. I was able to see my best friend, and I was also able to see my brother and sister-in-law. So spent all the time with my best friend because that was the initial reason for the trip, her and her husband, which was so nice. So when I went, it was like during the government shutdown. My best friend and her husband both work for the federal government. So during that time, a lot of things were shutting down. Thankfully, my best friend we're very similar when it comes to planning and, taking care of things well in advance. She had booked tickets and everything for us well in advance for me to see all of the monuments. And luckily enough, we went on a Saturday to all of the monuments. And when I say all, I mean the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the MLK, the African American Museum, the White House, and we did it all in one day. Can you believe that? Like everything in one day. And that day that we did it was the day before everything shut down, before they decided to shut down all of the exhibits and all of the monuments in the well-known areas that people typically go to when they visit DC. So that was nice. I was able to see all that. I want to go back, absolutely, to see more. So that was early October. And of course, I saw my brother and my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law was ready to pop. Funny enough, the day that I was leaving DC, literally on the way to the airport, I'm on the way to the airport. My best friend is driving me to the airport. I get a text from my brother. Her water just broke. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, for one, my brother is my only sibling. It's just the two of us. And neither of us have children. So, or at the time. So this would be my first niece or nephew. Like, I will be an aunt for the first time. So I'm like flipping out, like, okay, do I need to extend my trip? Do I need to stay? Do I need to come over? Like, do you need anything? Like, I'm here. Like, I can push out my flight. Like, it's okay. I have my work laptop. Like, I can work when I'm here. And he's like, no, we're fine. We just want to let you know. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it's really happening. Like, I'm about to be an aunt. My little brother's about to be a father. Like, I start getting emotional because I'm like, this is my little brother. Like, I'm the overprotective big sister. This is my little brother. He's about to be a dad. So he's like, no, you're fine. It's okay. Well, I get back and I'm just like, okay, I want to be updated. I need to know what's going on. They're updating the family, like my family, her family. I think it was the next day. She was in labor. She wasn't in labor very long. I think it wasn't a whole 24 hours out. I don't think so. This was early that morning. I think it was like 7 o'clock that this happened. And I think by midnight, 1 a.m. the next day, the baby was here. And they had a little girl, and she is the cutest little thing. She's adorable. So sweet. Still can't believe that my brother is a dad. Like, it's such a beautiful thing. Okay, so this is early October. So when I get back, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna book a flight to come back later in the month. It's actually not later in the month, it's early November. Literally, like, I think it was like the 1st of November. As soon as I got back, I'm booking the flight. I'm like, I'm gonna come out there. I'm gonna spend, a week with you guys, help you guys out with the new baby. Allow you guys to get some rest. Whatever you need help with, I'm here. Fly back out like 3 weeks later, and I'm staying with them. And when I tell you, like, my heart became so full. And my heart is already full. But she was the sweetest, the most beautiful little baby I've ever seen. And she's so tiny. She was so tiny. I was able to spend a week with her and them. I was able to allow them to get some sleep, help them out with cleaning, anything they needed around the house. I, helped out wherever I could. Also got to hang out with my best friend again. We spent a night out, just took me to explore certain areas since it was, the holidays. A lot of places were, lit up and, decorated for the holidays. And so she took me around to see that. She's been living there since 2022. So she's been out there for a little while. Yeah, there for a week, spent time with them, came back home. Now we are in No. I'm skipping a whole girl, get it together. Thanksgiving. Like I told you, my first cabin trip was in March. First ever cabin trip. Thanksgiving, I spent with my boyfriend and his family. And it was a cabin trip, again in Oklahoma. But there were about 20 of us in one cabin. And when I tell you, that was one of the most beautiful experiences that I've ever had. So I've done, family events with my family. I've done reunions, things like that. But to be able to stay in a cabin with your loved ones, the people that are closest to you, about 20 or so people under one roof, you'd think it's chaotic, but it was actually so beautiful. The cabin was gorgeous. It was huge, enough to accommodate all of us. Of course, the couples got the big rooms and the nice rooms. Well, all the rooms were nice, but those that were not coupled up shared a room and bunk beds. So, the rooms were still nice, but in instances like those, having a significant other is a plus sometimes. Either way, it was a great time. The great outdoors. We played games. We had s'mores. We had a campfire. We just enjoyed each other's company. Food, fun, fellowship, all of the things. Now, fast forward to December. Did I go anywhere in December? I don't think so. I feel like I did go somewhere in December. Granted, we're still in December. I don't know. And if I did, I really don't know. If I did, it's totally missing me right now. I don't think I went anywhere. We can add December to the list. So June and December are the months that I didn't go anywhere this year. That was my 2025 in a nutshell. I traveled as much as possible. I love giving myself something to look forward to. That makes the days go by a little faster, So I traveled domestically, internationally. I was officially diagnosed with ADHD, so I am neurodivergent. I am on the spectrum, and I'm late diagnosed, but I'm glad I was able to be diagnosed nonetheless. I always knew that the way that my mind worked was a little bit different, and just it does feel good to put an explanation to the reason I do the things that I do and how I do the things that I do and the way that I think. That was eye-opening, a revelation for me, I will say, this year. Usually every year I, pick a word for the year, and I don't remember what my word was coming into this year, but closing out the year, I can say that this year for me, my word was revelation, because a lot of things were revealed to me about myself, about other people. It was just a year of revelation, a year of reflection, a year of resilience. Despite everything that happened this year, all the good, I will say mentally, I was put through the ringer. I won't get all into that, but I am praying for 2026 to supersede 2025. It has to. I'm trusting and believing that, God doesn't put you through certain things just to put you through certain things. Like, there is a reason, and the things that you've endured and the trials and tribulations that you've overcome are leading you to something even greater. May not look like it, and you may not understand the why, but God has his reasons, and everything happens in his timing, because his timing is perfect. So, with that being said, if you're still rocking with me from, when did I start? 2017? I appreciate you. And now you see why. I haven't been consistent. Because I'm ADHD. That's the reason why. I always say, I'm inconsistently consistent. That is why. It's going to get better. Fingers crossed. If you're new, welcome. I hope you continue to watch, and I hope your 2025 was great. And if it wasn't, it's okay. 2026 is going to be the year. I know we say that all the time, but 2026 is going to be that year, okay? We got this. Resilience. You got it. Until next video, and until 2026, bye.